News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:03. I'm Bill Walter with this news update brought to you by Logan Extermination. The Hope Squad has been a very successful program at Logan High School, receiving statewide and national attention. On KBNU's For the People program this past Wednesday, some of the administrators and students talked about what the program consists of. Assistant Principal April Davis said the Hope Squad is a phenomenal resource to help students with their mental that struggle with their mental health, and also to provide them with resources when they are struggling.
We want to make sure our students are successful when they leave our schools, and a big part of that is their mental and emotional health, and the Hope Squad is essential and key to that, and it's just very inspiring to see what they can do, the connections they can draw with other students, and the way they just inspire our student body.
One of the students involved with Hope Squad and is part of the National Council as well is Esme Negretta. She talked about what motivated her to get involved.
A couple things that inspired me to get into Hope Squad were just as someone who struggled with her own mental health, and learned how to go through it and help herself. I feel like it's just something that's kind of inspired me to go out and help other people who are struggling, that struggled the same way as I have.
And Davis said they like to focus on the whole student and the whole child in the Logan District and at Logan High School. She said a big part of that is making sure they can do their academics, take care of their physical health, but also that they can get mental and emotional support as well. KBNU News Time is 4:04. KBNU weather for tonight. A few clouds this afternoon, but becoming mostly clear later on tonight. Low temperature in the low 30s overnight, and then sunny to partly cloudy. Nice day tomorrow, upper 50s. It's been to 59. It's 55 right now at KBNU. Weather is changing, and Napa Auto Parts has what you need to get your car ready for winter. Get more cranking power with the Napa Legend or AAA battery at your 5 locations. Napa Auto Parts between Preston and Providence.
Even though the weather's grown colder, you still have time to have your fruit trees pruned. Logan Extermination says your trees need to be trimmed back in order to achieve success next year. And this is the first step to a bountiful harvest. However, you could do more bad than good if you don't know what you're doing. Save the headache and call Logan Extermination today and get a jump on tree pruning. Prices will vary depending on your needs. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
KBNU News Time is 4:06. Millard County officials said that a Saturday night shooting suspect turned himself in Sunday morning. Authorities reported that deputies from the Millard County Sheriff's Office and troopers from the Utah Highway Patrol responded to the Meadow area Saturday night on reports of a person who had been shot. The suspect, later identified as 31-year-old Zachary Pikyabit, reportedly fled the scene moments after the shooting. Officials later confirmed that Pikyabit, who is considered to be armed and dangerous, turned himself in Sunday morning. Pikyabit was found to have a criminal history in Utah. Most recently, he was arrested in Cedar City in June 2021 on charges of assault and domestic violence after being taken into custody in Millard County in February 2020 for drug and weapon-related charges, along with providing a false identity to law enforcement. And Alta Ski Area announced that they will be delaying their opening date because winter has been slow to arrive this season. Resort officials said that as of Saturday, their new opening date has not been determined. They said they will be reevaluating conditions at Alta, which is in Little Cottonwood Canyon, next week. The resort's initial opening date was scheduled to be November 17th. Brian Head Resort delayed their opening by 1 week due to warmer temperatures. They were originally scheduled to welcome skiers back on the 10th, on Friday, but have since changed that to November 17th. Meanwhile, Solitude Mountain Resort, located up Big Cottonwood Canyon, had their earliest season opening date in decades for pass holders, November 10th. KBNU News Time is 4:08. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Where you find out. News Talk KVNU 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Wow, Dave, what's the matter? You don't look so good. You look like you're under a lot of stress.
You're right, Bob. And looks aren't deceiving. I thought turning 65 would be easy. Boy, was I wrong. Every day I go to the mailbox, I'm inundated with mail, bombarded with phone calls from telemarketers, and when I turn on the TV, all I see is Medicare commercials. It's like a bad dream I can't wake up from.
I know how you feel, Dave. I felt the same way.
So what'd you do?
I went to Jessup Insurance. I can't believe the peace of mind they've given me. They've helped me to understand Medicare and explained all of my insurance options. Dave, hey, Dave, where are you going?
I'm heading to Jessup Insurance to get rid of this bad dream.
Say goodbye to all the Medicare confusion. Call Jessup Insurance, 435-213-3200, or Google Jessup Insurance.
Jessup Insurance and Retirement Services. Let us guide you.
Attention Aggies, USU Campus Store's annual holiday event is this Wednesday, November 15th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be one of the first 100 in-store customers and get a free mug. All Aggie gear is 25% off, including Nike, Champion, Hydro Flask, and Konopexi, along with holiday gift items, including blankets and kitchen goods. Make sure to grab a free hot chocolate, and all $100 purchases will receive a free 2023 collectible bear. Don't miss USU Campus Store's 13th annual holiday sale this Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the Taggart Student Center or online at usucampusstore.com.
This is Mark with Anderson Seed and Garden. Our annual Christmas open house is this weekend, November 17th through 18th. Anderson's will be completely transformed into a holiday wonderland with a forest of gorgeous decorated Christmas trees, LED and traditional lights, wreaths, and everything you'll need to decorate your home for the holidays. Don't miss out Anderson Seed and Garden's open house. Come see what's new for the holidays at Anderson Seed and Garden. Anderson's on Center Street in Logan.
A Disney cruise is no ordinary vacation. It's an adventure, a fairy tale, a dream. Step aboard and discover where favorite Disney characters meet fun for the whole family, where total rest and relaxation meet the ultimate escape and excitement, where a dream vacation meets a magical cruise. Only on Disney Cruise Line, where magic meets the sea.
Contact Morris Columbus Travel to book your Disney Cruise Line vacation at morriscolumbus.com.
Learning your child has cancer causes an emotional and financial crisis. Often, the best place for treatment is far from home. But with the help of the National Children's Cancer Society, children battling cancer can get to life-saving treatment, whether it's across town or across the country. To learn how we give families hope and give their children the best shot at survival, visit thenccs.org. That's THENCCS.org. Because no family should go through childhood cancer alone.
Every day, Doctors Without Borders teams confront hard facts in conflict and crisis zones. When others might look away, we step in to act. Because measles still kills more than 100,000 children every year. We're there to vaccinate over 1 million worldwide, including those affected by the current outbreak in Democratic Republic of Congo. Because half of all maternal deaths occur during delivery or within 24 hours. We've assisted more than 1.4 million births around the world, including care for new mothers in Afghanistan. Because some countries only have 1 or 2 mental health professionals, we offer counseling and clinical care, providing over 400,000 mental health consultations worldwide last year, including care for migrants and refugees on the dangerous journey north from Central America. The fact is, your acts of care and compassion make our life-saving work possible. Picture the impact we can have together. DoctorsWithoutBorders.org.
Technology can make our lives more fun, convenient, and connect us with friends. But when tech is used for cyberbullying, children's lives can be damaged. Peter and Amanda Como found good communication protects their kids.
I believe that using jw.org was beneficial in preparing me to talk to my children about pitfalls that maybe I wasn't even aware of. Anything that me, as somebody who doesn't typically use too much social media, it was very beneficial to prepare me as a parent, not only to know what my children are facing, but how to address it with them specifically.
One of those resources is the animated video Beat a Bully Without Using Your Fist. Their 14-year-old daughter picked up tips to help if she was bullied.
What's helped me is to just let it go, or if it's bothering you that much, talk to your parents about it, or an adult. Even though it may be embarrassing or hard to talk about, if you're being bullied, you need to speak up.
To find more tips and tools to protect your child from cyberbullying, look to stopbullying.gov or search bullying on jw.org.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It's Monday, November 13th. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Jason Williams. Bill Walter here in the studio as well. Can you hear it? My voice starting to go a little bit again.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Spent some time outside this weekend. Whew. I've talked to
you should know, you got to stay indoors.
I've talked to a lot of people that have had the same experience with their fall hay fever. We don't call it hay fever in the fall. We call it seasonal allergies, I think is what we call it in the fall. It's hay fever in the spring.
Usually it's not literally hay.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it is for folks, but.
Yeah. It's, from my understanding right now, is it's molds and some late pollinating trees, pines and otherwise. But, yeah, it has been a year. And I've talked to, in fact, one of our guests last week from Logan High said she'd experienced the same thing, that her seasonal allergies had been a little worse than she was used to, and that she had, her voice had started to go a little bit, and nothing helped. So, yeah, it's been not.
'Tis the season, as they say.
Yeah, it's been not really unseasonably warm. I mean, there have been days here and there where we've broken averages and things like that, but it's been dry. Well, yeah. So October, if you look at the water collection totals, October was a little wetter than normal. So far, November has been,
but at least not with snow. Though.
Yeah, it wasn't snow.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that in hour two as well. An update from our friend Mitch Shaw at UDOT. We spoke with him several weeks ago about some of the ongoing projects, including Valley View Highway, which is still underway. And he said at that time, if weather allows, these projects will continue till the end of the year. Well, they're still going. And another one is now online. Early October, a project began in Smithfield. You may have noticed some lane restrictions there through Smithfield. That one continues to the end of the year. And they won't be able to resurface that road and complete the project until next spring. So, yeah, a lot going on out there. We'll talk about it. But it does allow these construction projects to continue. It allows for us to not have to be shoveling and blowing snow or clearing roofs or anything like that. So it's kind of nice. But so far, this November has been, we're only 13 days in, so don't cross it off yet. But so far, it's been drier than normal compared to the last, for even those severe drought years, 4 or 5 years of data. But I'm sure that will change. But I was impressed to see this. So reservoir-wise, I asked for an update from our pals at the Water Conservancy District and the state and USU Climate, and all of them got back to me over the weekend. Reservoir-wise, obviously, reservoir levels, we're looking, I mean, it's pretty much gangbusters throughout the state still. But having, replenished those that had dipped down in the heavy use summer months, We're back up. We're ready. They're basically everywhere in the state almost. We're where we'd like to be heading into the winter. Now, obviously, reservoirs can only store so much. So if it's a really dry winter and a really dry spring, and we see the heat dome and the drought this coming summer that we saw for the 2 summers in a row 3 years ago, starting 3 years ago, then we're in trouble again quickly, very quickly. But right now, the ground saturation looks pretty good. Reservoirs aren't losing as much as they did 2 years ago this time through ground saturation. That's a weird thing to think about because we all think of water use kind of coming to a standstill, especially secondary water in the fall as the plants freeze and the gardens freeze and we stop watering the flower pots. Then our outdoor use, just goes away. And that's true for households. It's not true for industries, for certain manufacturing types as well. And it's also not true entirely for agriculture, even though in agriculture they'll stop watering the fields. That water's still flowing through the canals. It's still making its way everywhere that it made its way through the summer. And if everything has been really, really dry, it can take months of ground saturation before you start losing a lot of the water supply coming out of those reservoirs to that ground saturation. Now, you're always going to lose some. That's kind of factored into the water estimates and more. But when it's in the drought years, those drought years, we were losing so much in the fall and the spring even. And in some areas, southern parts of Utah, even in the winter time, just so much seeping out into the ground, and then it was so dry and so warm, it was just evaporating, and that was a good chunk of those reservoir supplies gone before a single backyard tap had been turned on in the late spring, early summer. So I hope that puts this all in perspective. That really helped me understand why right now they're paying such a close attention to water levels in reservoirs and more in the wintertime because, again, we all stopped using all the water, right? Well, that's why they're paying attention right now. And, again, the way things look are pretty good. That could change quickly if we don't get a lot of snow this winter, if it's a dry spring and we head back into a drought and a long-standing heat dome like we did not last winter and summer, but the summer and winter before and the summer and winter before that, then we're in trouble before June. So this could change, but right now things are looking pretty good. So if we get that hefty mountain snowpack that we like to see, a few ski resorts opening, by the way. One opened.
Well, one was going to. I don't have the story in front of me. I think.
Which one was it? Do you remember?
But I'll have to look again.
I know they said
one of them they were going to open, but it turned out to be a little bit warmer than they.
So all the snow they made melted. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have pushed it back.
Yeah,
but several are opening on the this Friday, the 17th.
That's what I saw that several are planning to open on the 17th one way or another. I would guess it's not going to be the greatest skiing because in most, well, not the Cottonwood area, but in a lot of areas, this is going to be snow they made overnight, and by the mid-afternoon, that's going to be pretty slushy. But if I know for a lot of people, if you can put the skis on and go down a hill, it's considered skiing. So that's got to be welcome news. I think 4. According to the story here. 4 resorts are planning to open on the 17th. And one, Solitude, had planned to open. They did open on the 10th, but as Bill mentioned, it didn't go great from what I heard. I had some friends who headed up there. So they'd been making snow overnight. And it was just too warm. And by the time all the skiers got on the hill, it was just a big slushy mess. So I asked a friend how it went. He said, well, if you like your skis, don't go yet. But ski season is coming. And unfortunately, in the forecast at least for the next bit, I doubt we're going to see those big snowstorms to layer that snow in the mountains. But it's Utah. That could change. In a 7-day period, we could be buried in it. So
And we are supposed to get a little something this weekend.
At least a dusting, right?
Yeah, the preliminary look at that over the weekend is maybe 3 to 6 inches in the higher mountains.
That's welcome.
Near us, and just rain down here. But
sure.
Although by next Monday, we could get rain mixed with snow.
Yeah. Actually, I've seen my first snowflake of the year. There was that storm a couple of weeks ago.
I saw it too.
Yeah.
We had, one where you were, and there was one where I was, and I think those were the 2 flakes that came down.
The 2 flakes, yeah. They were literally just in the air. They were rain when they hit the ground, but I saw them coming down, and there was a street light near me, and I could see them coming down the street light. I'm like, first snow of the year.
You didn't go out and try to catch it with your tongue or anything?
No, it was. I'd have to have gone in traffic.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I'm not allowed to play in traffic anymore. 753-5868.
It's bad for your cough.
Yeah. 753-5868. Coming up, unfortunately, the Attorney General of the state of Utah in the headlines again. And again, an update from UDOT on a project that just began here in northern Utah. Not something you often hear in the fall. And Smithfield residents, well, this is either going to be good news or bad news for you if you live in Smithfield. But either way, we've got the news for you. All of that coming up here as For the People continues right after this.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Are you suffering with fatigue, brain fog, headaches, intestinal issues, weight gain, and you haven't been able to find any answers?
Before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety, some depression. I had been to multiple doctors. I'd been to specialists. We had done tests, and no one could find anything that was wrong.
Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
I'm on anxiety medicine. I've lowered my dose, and I'm working with my doctor to continue to lower it. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively, and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Hey golfers, Black Friday at Birch Creek starts Monday, November 13th. Punch passes, $150. All remaining golf shoes and shirts, half off. All remaining golf hats, $15. A limited number of $150 punch passes will be sold. Black Friday at Birch Creek runs Monday, November 13th through Wednesday, November 22nd. That's Birch Creek Golf Course in Smithfield.
Aggie basketball is heard here. New head coach Danny Sprinkle is looking to lead the Aggies back to a conference championship.
We have a lot of work to do, but it's a great team to coach, and they're fun to be around every day, and I think they're going to get better and better.
KVNU is your station for the best game day coverage, with pregame beginning 1 hour before tip-off, play-by-play and postgame interviews, and Aggie call afterwards. It's Aggie basketball on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home for the Aggies.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Good news and bad news on one quick front, an announcement of sorts. I'd mentioned to listeners last week we've been working on getting a Congressman Blake Moore radio town hall set up. And unfortunately, new Speaker of the House, Friday, the government shuts down again if they don't get their act together there in the House. And so the schedule keeps changing. So we had tried for the 6th. That didn't happen. We'd planned to do one today. Over the weekend, news came that wasn't going to happen. The calendar was announced, basically. Right now, we're tentatively, and again, I'm just telling everyone so you can kind of put it on your calendars. But remember, we do not control the schedule here. So tentatively, we're talking about next Monday. We'll see. I was told today it's not likely, but if you can, keep the hour open for us, because Congressman Moore would love to do it. He knows everybody has lots of questions, and but it's just, again, the schedule is up to the House Speaker, and it keeps changing. So again, no Blake Moore Town Hall today. It was tentative last week when we thought it might happen. It's possible next Monday at 5, but unlikely. If it doesn't happen then, of course, it's not going to happen, between the holidays most likely. But we have talked about maybe making arrangements to do something outside of the For the People window, something 6 to 7, which would be 8 to 9, Congressman Moore's time in D.C., that might end up working. So I'm going to keep working with them, but I'll keep everybody posted. Again, remember, these are tentative announcements. Congressman Moore just said he would love to do a town hall. He knows everybody is burning with questions, and he'd like to get the information out there and answer those questions, but he has not been able to. You've heard it through the news today. On the other side, some reactions from Utah's leaders. The governor, Speaker, former, at this point, Speaker of the House, Brad Wilson, and Senate President Stuart Adams reacting to the news that leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced today the death of President M. Russell Ballard, acting president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. And it was a very brief hospital stay, as I understand it. And from the statement, they said he was able to return home and was with his family there, and was able to, see everyone before passing away. This was apparently about 11:15 p.m. Yesterday, and they said he was surrounded by family. Ballard was 95, and in the press release put out today, Church President Russell M. Nelson said President Ballard was never indecisive. He knew exactly what the Lord taught and how it could be applied in one's personal life and bring joy and happiness. And, so a lot of reaction to that today from around Utah. And we'll get to some of that. Again, Senate President, Governor, former Speaker of the House, some of the candidates as well weighing in. So reactions to the news of the passing of President M. Russell Ballard after these headlines. With KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:30. And yes, as Jason was saying, one of the highest-ranking leaders in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has died. M. Russell Ballard was 95. He was acting president of a top governing body called the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, the church's second highest leadership body. He was second in line to the church presidency. A church statement says Ballard died Sunday, surrounded by his family at home. Ballard had been a member of the Quorum since 1985. He was the Quorum's acting president since 2018. He is survived by his 7 children, 43 grandchildren, 105 great-grandchildren, and 1 great-great-grandchild. And over the weekend, back on its home field for the first time in nearly a month, Utah State took it to Nevada with a 17-point victory, 41-24, putting the Aggies just 1 win shy of bowl eligibility. One of the best signs of good fortune for Utah State was scoring on its opening drive, something the team had not done since the Week 2 win over Idaho State. And it was also just the third time the Aggies had gotten a first down on their first drive, aside from the win over the Bengals and lost to San Jose State. But Utah State is facing Boise State, a familiar foe, this next Saturday evening at Maverick Stadium. And Boise State has fired Coach Andy Avalos as of Sunday, 10 games into his third season, leading the Broncos. And with a 22-14 record, Boise State Athletic Director Jeremiah Dickey said that he was grateful for the passion, effort, and dedication Andy has given to the community and his alma mater while serving as head coach. He said Andy will always be a Bronco, and we wish him and his family all the best in their next steps. Also, Utah State men's basketball team fell for the first time of the new season, coming up short versus Bradley in overtime in Peoria, Illinois, 72-66. KBNU News Time is 4:33.
Not dead, apparently. A two-part measure to keep the federal government from shutting down late Friday from House Speaker Mike Johnson. Senate leaders of both major parties support it. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
This latest proposal is very much untested. It is. It's untested. And where they could have, avoided this weeks ago, but instead they were in their own chaos.
Indonesia's president urges President Biden to do more to help people in Gaza. After the 2020 election, President Trump allegedly said he was not going to leave the White House. That according to Fulton County, Georgia investigators' interviews with Jenna Ellis and Sidney Powell, two former Trump attorneys who cut plea deals. Former federal prosecutor Chris Timmons.
An explosive revelation by Jenna Ellis that at least at that time during December, there were no plans to leave the White House regardless of the outcome of the election.
Establishing public emergencies for opioid overdoses and youth violence. The Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
KBNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy skies is the new forecast. Overnight low in the mid-30s, and then lots of sunshine tomorrow and upper 50s, mostly sunny, upper 50s, close to 60 degrees on Wednesday before a chance of rain moves into the picture late Wednesday night into Thursday. It's been to 59. It's 55 right now at KBNU. If your lawn looks great this fall, you shouldn't skip the last fertilizer application of the season. Fall may be the most important time to fertilize. It's the one that gets your lawn through winter and off to a fast start next spring. Call the Lawn Doctor, 753-LAWN, or go to LawnDoctorCashValley.com. You can always get more news at CashValleyDaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Tammy Siemens bringing you the Daily Financial Market Report for November 13th, 2023 on behalf of financial advisors TJ Davis and Edward Jones. Stocks finished near the flat line Monday with markets awaiting tomorrow's inflation report. Bond market activity was muted as well, with Treasury yields little changed across the curve. After market close on Friday, Moody's released a report changing its outlook on the U.S. credit rating to negative from stable, citing the higher interest rate, environmental, and political dysfunction as reasons for the change. Moody's did, however, maintain its credit rating for the U.S. at AAA. In commodity markets, the Dow closed up 55 points at 34,338. The NASDAQ closed down 30 points at 13,768. The S&P 500 closed up 4 points at 4,412. The price of crude oil was up $1.35 at $78.52, and the spot price of gold was up $12.60 to $1950.30. In stocks of local interest, Thermo Fisher closed down $3.28 at $445.15. Science Bancorp closed down 21 cents at 32.71. Autoliv closed up 44% at 97.10. Northrop Grumman closed up $1.11 at 464.38. Home Depot closed down $3.52 at 288.07. Lowe's Companies closed down 76 cents at 193.84. This has been today's financial market report and stocks of local interest, brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor TJ Davis, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 575 East, 1400 North, Suite 150, North Logan. If you would like additional information, please contact our office at 435-753-0153 or any of the 7 local branch offices located in Providence, Logan, and Smithfield.
Not sure what to do for Thanksgiving dinner? Does the thought of that mess turn you off? Then call the Beehive Pub and Grill. They have an amazing family-style Thanksgiving meal ready to go. Just order by Saturday, November 18th by 5 p.m. Pick up on November 22nd between noon and 6. Heat and serve. That's it. A full Thanksgiving meal with all the normal fix-ins without the hassle. Prices will vary. Order for 2 or get meals for 6. Call for details. Beehive Pub and Grill, Logan.
Intermountain Budge ENT Clinic has an experienced and caring team of physicians and staff to assist you with all of your ear, nose, and throat concerns, including head and neck surgery. Doctors Kaiser and Wilson and their staff at Intermountain Budge ENT Clinic will work together to provide excellent care and support throughout the entire surgery process, from your pre-op visit to your full recovery. And they accept all insurance. For more information about Doctors Kaiser or Wilson, search Budge Clinic ENT or call 435-716-1420. Local care with Intermountain expertise.
This holiday season, we're grateful for you at Murdoch Chevrolet. Let's celebrate together during our Season of Giving sales event.
We're grateful for your trust, your loyalty, and the moments you've shared with us. Right now, take up to $7,000 off a new Silverado Custom.
When you walk through our doors, you feel like family.
At Murdoch Chevrolet in Logan and Woods Cross or online at murdochchev.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Call 866-628-3065 or Zig Dealer for complete details. Offer expires 11/30/23.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello. Good morning. Is this Sheldon Main of Grace, Idaho? Yes. Someone nominated you for our Above and Beyond Salute. I understand that you're a retired Air Force. Yes, sir. Well, this individual that nominated you noted that while you were in the Air Force, you were deployed at least 6 times fighting for our country. And so I have a $40 gift card for you to Firehouse Subs as a way of saying thank you for what you have done for our country and community. Oh, man. Well, thank you.
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Just a couple of reactions to the news this morning of the death of... This is on CashValleyDaily.com if you'd like to read all of the details. I'll just skim them quickly here again. But an announcement this morning on the death of President M. Russell Ballard, acting president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. A press release from the church said he passed away about 11:15 last night. They put the press release out this morning with quotes from church president and others, and also a link to Ballard's final general conference address, which was October 1st. And I've linked to all of that on our Facebook page as well. But some of the reactions from around the state of Utah, Governor Cox saying that this was, tragic news. He said that he and his wife had always enjoyed time with Ballard and that Ballard was one of the most kind people he had ever met in his life. Senate President Stuart Adams, longtime member of the Senate, now serving as Senate President. He also tweeted out today that he was saddened by the passing of President Ballard. He said, "I joined many Utahns and those around the world in mourning this one-of-a-kind individual who illustrated a strong and selfless commitment to his faith, to not only his faith, but our state and our community." He said, "During this difficult time, I'd like to express my heartfelt condolences to the Ballard family and friends." And former Speaker of the House, Brad Wilson, said that he'd always enjoyed Ballard as someone willing to talk to them about thorny issues and the legislature might take up. And Wilson said, despite all the rumors and myth-making that's out there, never once did he tell us what to do. So kind of a more political statement from Wilson, he's a candidate. So there you have it, some of the reactions around the state. Other news today, I've been following this story as a statewide story, but I did not expect a Logan angle to this. The reason I've been following the story is that I know with the legislature throwing money at housing, which they should. I'm not criticizing them. Well, I'm criticizing them a little bit for how they're throwing the money at it. Speaking of Stuart Adams, his $20 million slush fund for new homeowners. Adams himself, by the way, happens to be in a business where he's going to make money from new homeowners. So I don't like slush funds. I think we should be accountable with taxpayer dollars. But, anything is going to help at this point. And we definitely have an ongoing housing crisis and people, new families, individuals being priced out of the housing market like crazy. And it is leading to homelessness. We might not think of it as homelessness because it isn't someone out panhandling on the streets of Salt Lake City, but there's homelessness in Cache Valley. I know more than one individual who found themselves in the last year or two unexpectedly having to leave a place they were renting and not able to find a replacement for months. One family I know lived in a house trailer behind a sibling's home for a few months in the wintertime. Not because they couldn't afford a home, at least if they were reasonably priced, but because there weren't any in their price range whatsoever, and the home that they'd been working on had caught fire, and they'd had to leave it. This is a really bad situation, and so I've been following, where the state's been throwing money, where they've been putting money, and that led me to this story of this gigantic subcontractor conglomerate in Utah, based in Salt Lake, called Makers Line, and you've probably heard of them. This is a large, well, it's not a large company as far as personnel goes, but it's a large company as far as footprint goes. They are all over the state, coordinating contractors and subcontractors from everything from small projects to large multi-story buildings in downtown Salt Lake. And I caught this story last week about some lawsuits being filed against them, and then the Salt Lake Tribune reporting that Makers Line just went silent in the middle of this. If you drive through Salt Lake right now, you'll see on a couple of the cranes there still over some of the buildings that are being constructed, the two different developments happening there with cranes hanging over them, currently sitting still, no workers anywhere in sight, and the name Makers Line across the top of those cranes. It's a big deal. But the footprint, again, of this company, Makers Line, which has now gone silent for reasons. This is one of the weirdest mysteries in the news I remember in quite some time. No one knows what is going on. This very high-profile developer, they were behind the Granary District's Industry SLC. If you've seen that building in Salt Lake, it's huge. It's one of the bigger buildings in Salt Lake now. This was a big company with a footprint in all parts of the state, and they've disappeared. And then at this point, 13 different lawsuits have been filed against them in the last 3 weeks. Subcontractors have filed lawsuits both against Jason Winkler and his business partner / wife, Ellen Winkler, and two other companies in their orbit, Industry Office Salt Lake City and Titus Shot Creek. And they allege that they haven't paid for work on Utah construction jobs in months. The biggest claim against Makers Line is $771,000, and that claim was filed 2 weeks ago by H&E Equipment Services of Utah. The latest claim, filed just last Thursday, is for $215,000, and that's by a heating contractor, One Source Portable Air, based out of South Salt Lake. But as I dug through the lawsuits, I found this. In the lawsuits is Logan-based Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning. They have filed, way back August 24th, Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning filed against Makers Line and Union Station for $64,000. And that is for unpaid bills for labor and equipment. So $64,000, Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning says they are owed by Union Station through Maker's Line. Union Station, the property owner where this work happened, but Maker's Line, the contractor that lined things up for Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning. So a Logan company has also filed for $64,000 plus owed to them for labor and equipment as of yet unpaid. And that filing, again, goes way back to August. Attorneys for Maker Line at first argued in its defense when it came to the Bear River Heating lawsuit. They said that it hadn't paid Bear River Heating because Union Station hadn't yet paid them. So Union Station, the property owner, they're claiming hadn't paid Maker's Line, the coordinator of the project, and so therefore Maker's Line hadn't paid any other subcontractors like Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning. That was the original argument. That was back in August. Since then, so after Union Station failed to respond to the suit, a judge in the case of Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning issued a default judgment against Union Station, saying it has to pay the entire amount sought. And representatives for Union Station also did not respond to the Salt Lake Tribune's request for comment last Friday, nor did Winkler of Maker's Line. But again, no one really knows what's happening. It's impossible this company wasn't making money. I can't imagine a scenario where this company wasn't making money. But yet, on that same building, the Union Station building, where Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning here in Logan asked for, through court, $64,000 owed to them as of yet unpaid, that same building, Bingham Plumbing and Mechanical, is looking for $106,000 from Maker Line and Union Station LLC for labor and materials as well. Their claim just hasn't processed through yet, like Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning has. I have no idea. It's just, this has become like almost a Netflix special for me, trying to follow this story, because again, no one knows what's happening. And I would be really, really surprised if this Maker's Line company wasn't making money. If they weren't making money, if someone was embezzling or managing this company in a horrible way, because how can you not be making money subcontracting construction jobs right now? I have no idea how you could not make money off of that. And yet this company stopped paying everyone, at least as early as August, according to the suit filed by one Logan company. And now they've just gone dark, not responding to requests from the media, not responding to requests from subcontractors that want their money. They've just completely disappeared and shut up. One apartment complex, by the way, one of the bigger projects through the Maker's Line brand, was in East Salt Lake City, and in a lawsuit filed by Kilgore Companies LLC, they were doing business with Altaview Concrete, and in their suit they listed the property at 129 South, 700 East in Salt Lake, and said that they hadn't been paid for any of their work in constructing that entire apartment complex. So years of work, and they haven't seen any of it yet. This is, I guarantee there is a story here of some kind. The Salt Lake Tribune story goes on through every project. It's a lengthy article, but most of them are in Salt Lake. Again, the only angle, quite a few in Ogden as well, I should mention, but the only Cache Valley tie was this one $64,000 claim in which a judge ruled judgment in favor of Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning, in which Union Station, the property owners, and Maker's Line, the contractor who arranged for the work to be done by Bear River Heating and Air Conditioning, $64,000 they hadn't paid them. And they finally filed suit in August, and the judge issued judgment in the Logan Company's favor. But again, no one knows what has happened with this very high-profile developer here in Utah, with their hands in so many projects and a footprint throughout the state. Stay tuned. I guarantee there is a story here worthy of a Netflix special. We just don't know what it is yet. But if you'd like to read what we do know so far, I've linked to it on our Facebook page, and we'll be back right after this.
Attention Aggies, USU Campus Store's annual holiday event is this Wednesday, November 15th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Be one of the first 100 in-store customers and get a free mug. All Aggie gear is 25% off, including Nike, Champion, Hydro Flask, and Kono Pepsi, along with holiday gift items, including blankets and kitchen goods. Make sure to grab a free hot chocolate, and all $100 purchases will receive a free 2023 collectible bear. Don't miss USU Campus Store's 13th annual holiday sale this Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the Taggart Student Center or online at usucampusstore.com.
Hey Aggie Nation, this is Cooper Lega, quarterback for the Utah State Aggies. I recently had LASIK surgery at Monson Vision. I was tired of dealing with contacts during each game and knew my vision had to be perfect. So, after researching, I went with the best. Dr. Monson and his team took incredible care of my eyes, using the best technology, and they have the best approach. My eyesight is unbelievable and my downfield vision is crystal clear. When it comes to your eyes, you want to get it done once and get it done right. Don't wait, go get your eyes done at Monson Vision.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Edward Jones Financial Advisors can help work with you to understand today's financial landscape and how to be positioned for the long term. Edward Jones can give you the tools for a reasoned, disciplined approach to investing. Get started by calling one of the 7 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. New House Speaker Mike Johnson is out with a proposal designed to avoid a government shutdown, but with no funding in it for Ukraine or Israel. How will it be received by leaders of both parties? We'll explain. Also, the lasting effects of inflation on this year's Thanksgiving, and how to create your own luck since you have more control than you think. Tuesday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
The final Aggie home game of the season is Saturday as Utah State hosts Boise State.
It's a huge game. I mean, we don't like them. They don't like us. It's a natural rivalry right here. We all know that. They're physical. They play great defense. They can run the ball. Man, we got to play our best ball.
Pre-game begins at 3, kickoff is at 5, and post-game and Aggie call immediately follows the game. It's the Aggies and the Broncos. Saturday on News Talk KVNU, the heritage home for the Aggies.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. This is kind of outside of the current headlines, but a fun question from a listener. And I am by no means an expert on this. What you're about to hear is my personal preference. So find your own personal preference. But a listener said, says, look, maybe this makes me really old. But I am old enough to remember using an RSS feed app on my phone to stay plugged in with current headlines. That doesn't work anymore. Google's done away with the RSS feed for a lot of news stories that come through Google News, and that's my first recommendation. Don't get your news through Google News. You can still actually subscribe to RSS feeds from any news website. It's just really hard to find the feeds because they don't publish them anymore. If you're a nerd and you know how to pick through, when you go to CacheValleyDaily.com or the Salt Lake Tribune or the Deseret News and you see a list of current articles, that's an RSS feed that's just populating a portion of the website. So if you know how to pick through the code of a website, you can still find those RSS feeds. It's just not as easy to do these days. But a listener says, what do you recommend? I hear people getting all their news on Facebook. I hear people getting all their news on Twitter, Instagram even. And again, this is my personal preference. So you find what works for you. I wouldn't get all of your news on YouTube. That's the first one I cross off, mainly because none of that's going to be local at all. Facebook, you just have to be careful. Two things about Facebook. You're only going to see what people share. So you're basically letting others decide what you see if you go to Facebook only for your news, unless you carefully select your followers. But considering most people have their friends and family on Facebook and coworkers and everyone in their circle, you're going to get a lot of stuff. And not all of it's going to be news. And as I've seen, not all of it's going to be actual news. I have there's some folks in my Facebook social circle that are not too skeptical of the sites they're getting their news from, and yet willing to throw it out there. Unfortunately, one of them is a state lawmaker, and I give him the hardest time every time I see him do it because he falls for it all the time. So I'm not a fan of going to Facebook for your news. Instagram, same kind of thing. It's going to be mixed with your social life and more, so you're only going to see what others decide to share with you. That's ceding your information intake to others. I'm against that. So my personal preference actually is Twitter. And the reason for that is, now you have to be careful. Don't just follow everyone. There's a feature on Twitter that you can automatically follow anyone that follows you. Never turn that on. What I would recommend, if you want to use social media for following news, download the Twitter client or a Twitter client if you don't want to use Twitter's own. They're all pretty good. And then only if this is why you're using it, just as a news source, you can turn Twitter into an RSS feed, basically, by only following news agencies like KVNU and Cache Valley Daily, the Salt Lake Tribune, Deseret News. Follow national news sources. But if you only follow journalists who write and have their own Twitter accounts, many do, Ben Winslow of Fox 13, Robert Gehrke at the Salt Lake Tribune, Brian Shaw of the Salt Lake Tribune. Some of them have their own personal accounts. Those can be interesting too. But if you only follow the journalists and the news sources like CacheValleyDaily.com, we're on Twitter there. KVNU's on Twitter as well. You can use Twitter like that old RSS feed aggregator. So if you're a millennial and you're missing those aggregators, I get it. This person apparently is. That's how I do it. Again, that's my personal preference. Something else might work for you, but I would just say this, especially with what we've seen coming out of news from the war in Gaza, be very selective. You would be surprised how many people have so little self-respect. They will sacrifice their entire reputation just to get a tweet to go viral, even if it's not true.